Each week we listen to an album, here's our rhyme. Just know it's gonna take about 3 hours of your time to hear us complain or praise each other's taste. But no matter what, at the end of the day, we're just best friends who love different music. We are earbuds, earbuds, earbuds. This is Earbuds.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Earbuds. If you're watching this on YouTube, first of all, thank you very much. Please like and subscribe and comment down below. Tell us everything you're thinking about. We want to know, we really do. Good or bad, good or bad. And if you don't want to watch it on YouTube, but you think that's your only option, no. Find us on all podcast platforms and follow us there. You can download the audio-only episodes and listen to them on your way to freaking work, baby.
Oh my God!
This is Earbuds.
Hello, welcome to Earbuds. I'm Joey, and this is Landon. Good luck with that. This is the show where we ask everyone to throw them up our inverted butt cheeks. Now, before you turn the show off, the inverted butt cheek is not something to be scoffed at. It's, of course, the inside of the Venn diagram, isn't it? So you think about a Venn diagram, two big, round circles. And I like my stuff on this side, and him, on the other side of me. If you're listening to audio, there's a second man in the room. Hello. And there was also a second one on the grassy knoll.
Well, some say.
But he'll be coming back soon. So you've got the second circle, and Landon likes what he likes over here. But in the middle, they converge, and we kind of like some of the same stuff sometimes.
Cha.
And the show is all about Shaka. Is all about feeling out those areas. And what can I put into the middle of our Venn diagram for you, dear?
Ow!
Mm-hmm. Not that. So I bring an album one week, you bring an album next week. We discuss it.
Yes. Now, last week, I brought you Spanish love songs.
Yes.
And we talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
We had some fun, didn't we?
Yes. Yeah, that was great.
I think that was kind of probing the inverted butt cheek, at least.
It was. It was one of those interesting ones where I still
get jealous.
So I still need to listen to them a bit more, I think. But it's in that wheelhouse, which is why it sort of led me to this pick.
Yes.
But
so tell us.
Wait, was there anything else you wanted to say about Spanish love songs? Because I think I had something to say.
Okay.
And I don't remember what it is, so I'm vamping.
Okay. I don't have anything else to say. Basically,
they came up on shuffle, and I was like, yeah, this is pretty good.
Oh. Yeah.
When I'm not listening to it to come in here and fight with you about it.
Right.
And I can relax my scrot and just sit in the car and drive one-handed.
That's your...
Right. And one hand on the wheel. And then just listen to it. I was having fun. I said, you know what? Maybe this is...
From this album that we covered, or from...
Yes. Still need to go back. But okay. I said...
That led us here, didn't it?
That led us here. One ingredient in the BLT, lettuce. So it led us here to a band called Touché Amoré with 2 accent marks.
Touché. Amore.
Uh-huh. Doesn't mean anything. So why did I pick this one? I feel like, and I didn't look this up like I should have.
Oh.
I was like, it feels like 2 bands that have played together, doesn't it?
They're kind of
in the same vein of sort of hard on sleeve, earnest punk music.
Yeah, they're one of them earnest types.
But of course, Touché Amoré is sort of their seniors. It's their predecessors in a way.
Yeah, although I think they're probably similarly aged.
Yeah, I think now they're like 40.
Okay,
which is kind of surprising, but because I'm like, that's old as hell. I'd never even thought about being that old.
Yeah,
I got invited. This is a little. Maybe this isn't for the show, but I'm going to say it. We got invited to a 40-year-old's like birthday party.
Whoa, cool.
Maybe that's this weekend. And I said, we can't be going to 40-year-olds' birthday parties.
No.
I was like, we're not in that bracket
We're
yet.
not going.
We can't do that. So,
and it's like your brother.
Yeah, I was like, we can't be knowing people that are 40. And they're like, it's your brother. He's not doing so well. Maybe
Yeah, you should really.
And I was like, nah.
I can't. I got to listen to Touché Amoré's Stage 4 and learn none of the lessons.
Nope. So, yeah, I was like, well, it's cool when I'm listening to it, but in real life,
I don't even care.
One hand on.
So,
So, they are sort of in that same vein.
for sure.
The lyrics, because you brought me this guy being depressed and sad and talking about death.
Last week.
But this band was one that has been sort of circling the drain of this show for quite some time. Because I say, do I bring it in now? I've said this one's one of my... Are you texting Biden?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I just saw your screen. It says Joe Biden just said, hey, what's good?
Yeah. Hoping to get a pardon.
That was like 6 months ago at this point.
Yeah.
When this comes out.
Yeah. No one even knows that happened.
No one even knows who that is. I've thought about bringing him up a couple different times because, A, this is one of my favorite albums. Favorite bands. B, Andy from Manchester Orchestra is on their next album.
Lament.
Not this one. Yes. And he is mentioned on a song from their previous album. There's a song about him.
Okay, that's weird.
Which it is weird. But it's one of those bands where you go, I guess this kind of works. Where if you just say, I was talking to my friend Andy, and you look it up and it's like he was talking to Andy Hull about music.
And you're like,
I know that, man. What else? What other things?
What else?
They've played with Me Without You. I saw them play with Me Without You on a tour, we've also had on the show. Again, another band I brought. They've covered The Replacements, which we talked about on the Green Day episode briefly. I'm sort of going in the IMDb trivia style.
Yeah.
Where you get down to like, this is the first movie that Thomas Jane has said the word anteater.
Yeah.
It's like 4 out of 900 people found this interesting.
Yeah.
It's like, this is the first time these two people have like been in a movie together.
Yeah.
Whatever. So, but they're hitting on all these different places. What else can I say? Oh, and then of course with outside of Spanish love songs being sort of like, this is kind of similar.
Yep.
They have a song called Rapture.
Yes.
And in that one, on the other one, he's like, let the rapture come in me alive. I'm kicking my ass. So, yeah. And I picked Stage 4 because, God, this is the one I always go back to. Now, why? Is it because something's wrong with me? I first found out about them in, let's say, the late aughts. Is that what you call the late 2000s, like 2008, 2009?
Yeah. Unless you're Dana Carvey, he says knots, and no one corrects him. Mm-hmm. He just keeps saying it.
He also says Dark Maga, and no one can hear him or whatever. There's not enough time to react. This band was during what's known as far as I'm concerned, when it came out, there was a sort of screamo revival.
Yes.
Of this sort of hard on sleeve, Ornist sort of.
Yes.
I'm screaming at you, but I'm telling you something, and it's sort of not. And I said, I'm here for it. And they put out. They had an album, To the Beat of a Dead Horse, and then they had Parting the Sea Between Brightness and Me, which is sort of where I came in.
Oh, please tell me they did a split with the band and they cover a song and they the other song do the song.
There's a couple. I own a lot of their 7 inches.
Yes.
I could have brought everything. They're one of those bands that they got merch. I'll get it.
You're
kind of
one
an
of those
idiot
guys.
that way.
Yeah.
So found out about them in high school. Have been following them ever since. But there was Dead Horse, Parting the Sea. Mm-hmm. Then there was their last album that they put out. Well, I'm going to go through every single thing they've ever done.
I don't know.
It felt like at that point they had sort of messaging about our show with some people. Where is this?
What the hell?
Don't look.
Okay, he's literally looking up who Joe Biden is. This is crazy.
I saw you texting him. So when they got to Is Survived By, I felt like they they were kind of doing the same thing with every album, which is fine. I like that.
Oh.
But then we get to stage 4, and I feel like there's a sort of a dividing line of them finding a new sound, because every album they've done since then, which is only 2 other albums, Lament, and then their newest one that just came out this year,
Yes.
Spiral in a Straight Line.
Do you think that would go on your best of the year?
If we were to do a best of the year, top 5, top 10 albums, yes. Okay. So, and I didn't know what to pick.
Sure.
I think Lament's great. It's one that my girlfriend, she said I was never going to listen to them because you listen to some other stuff I don't like City and Color. And I thought they were like that. And I was no. And she goes, but I think Lament's one of the best albums I've ever heard. Now that I've listened to them, and I was like, okay. So we've gone and seen them several times. Cool guys, just great stuff. I also brought my art book. Here's another thing about them.
Oh!
Their guitar player has done art for tons of bands. The biggest one sort of in like the metal scene is the Sunbather album from Death Heaven, which got a lot of attention when it came out. That's another album we'll probably talk about at some point, but he's also done stuff for like Katy Perry, Pink. He kind of just runs the gamut and has worked with all these bands within the punk scene and just through, I think, Universal Media Group. So they put together this sort of, they're sort of like Washington, D.C. hardcore bands where they sort of collect everything. But up through 2020, in this book they put out, they cover all the art from all the albums and then collect all the lyrics from everything. So I'll be using that. I got to use this in a productive way.
Of course.
But I've got the lyrics all here. But it's one of those.
Yeah, that's great.
Whenever a band does something like that and puts that much work into something,
I'd be buying that.
I go, hey, put that on my desk, dumbass, by noon. So I got to keep that open to that page. But that's another thing I like about them is that they work with other bands. They just do a lot of cool art, which I think is, to me, a lot of what I like about music. I also like the package that comes with it.
Yes.
I don't have the deluxe one of this one, but with Lament, I got the deluxe version where you want to get all of the stuff that comes with it.
Yeah.
When a band puts together, like, here's the visual representation of an album. Some bands don't do it at all, or they do it bad, and it drives me away from albums. With this band, it's one of those things that I feel like they care about every aspect of it to give, here's the feel of the album visually. Yeah. Which is nice. So that's my background. But like I said, if this album comes on, this is the one that I probably would still say, just because of when it came out, how much it hit me. I was like, this is the one we've got to talk about.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Cool.
You ever heard of them?
Of course, I've heard of them, and I didn't give them a chance until Lament when that came out. I did listen to it. I think I agree with your girlfriend that it's better
than this one, than Stage 4?
Well, not. I guess I shouldn't say that, but yeah. But no, I like that album. I haven't listened to the new one yet, though, for some reason, but.
Really good. Did you listen to it because Andy's on it? Was there, or just
no? I just I've known that you like them,
yeah,
and
Your old pal.
A lot of people like them, and I never gave them a shot because I know it's kind of it's veering a little into the stuff that I don't necessarily like,
right?
And I don't listen to them like heavily,
but you've listened.
But I've listened to.
Yeah,
their stuff.
I mean, one.
I've not listened to this one though, until now.
Did you? Well, we've got some viewers that might think you're not listening to this stuff ahead.
No, I listened to it all to the last couple weeks. Okay.
I really do like Lament, but just coming after this one, where to me, as someone that's followed
it's a shift. Yeah.
There was such a shift in the sound.
It's like, now
going into Lament, I see it sort of as a sequel.
Sure.
Because there are some other songs that touch on some of the stuff that's on this album, like I don't know, something. Oh, I'll Be Your Host. That's probably one that sort of touches on that the cancer aspect of this album. But this is and it's also a weird album, this one, because it is such a personal, like, one guy's story in a band. It's sort of that, like, we talk about tour songs. Yeah. Where it's like, here's my experience with being in a band that's on tour, and you're like, all right. I mean, this is literally about a guy's mom dying. Yeah. And so the songs are like, it's one of those where it's like when you go to a concert, it's like, are you singing along to
Right. Well, that's why
him experiencing
I couldn't put this on if it wasn't for this show.
Right.
So,
but that I think it's an important one to talk about. When I
certainly.
thought, if the show is us bringing what's important, what's a good one to talk about,
of course,
I think it's. Oh, and they also, which we get to, they also mentioned the What Sarah Said from the Death Cab album.
A little connection, isn't it?
And I was like, God, do I follow it up with that? But again, that was an album I brought.
Yeah,
so I can't do that.
No, you couldn't. I foiled you then, but you finally got it in.
But it's an emotional album, but I think it's a good. I know they just not celebrated. It was just the 10th anniversary of Jeremy's mom passing.
Woo!
Not a good celebration. But I know they went back and played the Fest in Gainesville for the first time, which he said was sort of his way of kind of, I can't think of any other word other than celebrating, but honoring, just sort of putting a different spin on that experience.
Yes.
And it's something they've talked about. I also think it's interesting, which we'll get into, that it is so much his story, but obviously there's, 4 or 5 people in this band that are also having to write the music for it.
It is interesting. It's because they all kind of have to be like, okay, this album cycle and this tour for our band is literally all very specifically about one man's experience, which I mean it's a universal experience. Everyone has that, but it is just kind of like cool that they're all like, let's do this. This is your sort of catharsis and we'll help you. Which
is also why it's sort of like this one is maybe a little more heavy-handed on the catharsis of someone dying, but they say in this book, this is the most, other than like being in a relationship or love in general, it's like something we've talked about.
Yes.
Just the art of what is being alive or what is dying.
Yeah.
And then it's through this lens of like a hardcore band dealing with it is interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are we done?
Yeah.
Okay. See ya. Should we get into it? I don't know if you got anything else.
No, I don't think I do. Let's, I guess I should say I didn't have a big fancy book to look at, so I'm just pulling up the lyrics here on my phone.
Yeah, I'm going to read from this book here.
So I will be keeping track of our friends and our sponsor over at Genius Lyrics, just to make sure they're understanding the lyrics the way that we are.
And I'll tell you what, sometimes they aren't.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
checked it earlier.
This album is kind of hard to parse what he's talking about.
Yeah, it's a little vague. So, but I just wanted to get here and give you your flowers.
Oh, thank you.
And you.
What? Oh, this is kind of cool.
Now,
it almost kind of sounds fun.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna like this.
Is that on the 1 or the 2? The floor drum he's drumming on.
1.
I don't know. We talked to a different guy a couple weeks ago and kept asking him drum questions. We should get into the lyrics because we're gonna run out of our minute time.
Let me Keeping up
Whoa.
appearances with white lies.
I don't want to get into it, but I just turned it up instead of turning it down.
Yeah.
Should we go? Let me go down to this kind of bridge here.
Okay.
Just a simple conversation about nothing much at all. Couldn't keep me in the room. I just kept walking down the hall. But now I understand just what a fool I've been.
Oi, oi, oi.
What the context, I won't have the time again.
Who said that?
I took inventory.
All right. That's Flowers and You off 2016's album, Touché Amoré's album, Stage 4. It's also their fourth album. Think about that.
That's what it means too?
Yep. Kind
They're
of
like,
clever.
okay, the first 3 albums were stage 1, 2, and 3. This is stage 4.
A great idea for Stage 4. So,
Do you think they were kind of like, okay, I know that what happened is bad,
right.
but that's kind of awesome.
I think so. I mean, I was like, I think it's because it's their fourth. And they say it in here. It's like, it's actually also,
They're like, okay, that's kind of badass.
which is interestingly, and we're not talking about this one, but on his new album, their new album, his lyrics, he sort of talks about this impulse to something bad is happening, and you think about it in a clever way, and you're like, what should I pat myself on the back for this sort of like,
Right.
why do I have to think about it in a clever way? What's the sort of point of that?
Oh, isn't he just so smart?
And I said, well, that's when I turned it off, so I haven't listened to it either.
Yeah.
It would be on my top 10 for clout. But so we get into the album here.
Yeah.
It's pretty clear what it's about. Now, see, I thought, I was like, he probably hasn't listened to them, or he knows them, and he's like, not for me. I think you'd really like the new album.
I'm sure I would. I just, for whatever reason, haven't.
If you like Lament.
Yeah, like I just said, I like Lament. So,
But this one is obviously their sounds broadening, and something that hits me with this song too is how much. I mean, there are albums we talk about where it's like, even the Death Cab for Cutie one, where it's like, yeah, it's about some sad stuff, and the music's kind of sad too. But this is like, I feel like they get sort of what he's talking about with his grief, and you're hearing it so much in the instrumentation too. Like, they're getting to kind of shine with how the music sounds too. It's not just the lyrics. It's sort of the whole sound of everything fits so well together for me. And if you go see him live, it's just a banger. I mean, you're crawling on the guy's head.
you are?
I said you are.
Whoa.
So, what'd you think as we got into this first song?
Yeah, I don't disagree.
With crawling on his head, or
Yeah. I think it is, well, as you said, we talked to our now really good friend John Van Dusen about his album, and he was talking about how that album was from a time in his life that he doesn't really want to think about,
yeah,
and he won't be playing any of these songs live and that sort of thing. And I was just thinking about this guy playing these songs live, and just like, I mean, even we talk about Green Day a lot.
Mm-hmm.
When I went and saw them this summer on their big fest, they've been 20 years they've been playing Wake Me Up When September Ends, and you can still hear Billy's voice crack.
and he changes the lyric, right, to
Yeah.
sometimes he's like 30 years have gone so fast or whatever.
Yeah, he
and you're
changes
just
it.
like, holy shit.
Yeah. And you can still, he kind of, starts to have a country voice, because his voice changes into a country guy when he's getting emotional.
Right.
And you're just thinking like, this.
Could you do this to yourself?
This shit means something, man.
Right. I will say, so we talked about too, of like saying people will go to a concert and say, oh, I was crying or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is one where, because they're so good, like they're very nice. It just seems like everyone there is nice. Like everyone there to see them. It's just such a good, energetic show. And then you see a guy singing about this, and everyone is, I don't know, everyone has something like that.
Yeah.
Even if it's not that specific or that
Sure.
hard to deal with.
Mhm.
But also you're it feels like it's maybe helping him, but you see a lot of catharsis in the room.
Yeah.
And it's very emotional. When this album came out, I went to see them. I think Rapture had come out as a single, and I was going to see them at Riot Fest. It was the first day of Riot Fest in 2016, and I was listening to it on the bus there, and I was just like, this is like truly hard to listen to.
Yeah.
And then you go see them singing these songs about his like mom that died 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's very emotional.
Sure.
But it's still like he's, they're all having a good time. And I think that's why it's like it is sad, but it is a way for someone to deal with.
Yeah, you're kind of working it out.
But he has said in interviews that he is very envious. And he did this to himself, but he said he's very envious of when he goes to shows and the singer's walking through the crowd and people are like, sick set. And he goes, I constantly will get what he's like, I will get, my sister just died of brain cancer last week. Or, yeah. This means so much to me because my best friend died in a car crash.
Yeah.
And he's like, I will get messages on Instagram. Like
Sure.
I'm fielding, which from Lament is sort of that I'll be your host sort of idea of constantly like what he gets is other people's grief.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's hard to,
I'm sure that
to
would
deal
be
with
hard.
that all the time.
Yeah.
But he's like, when you see people kind of losing their mind live, it makes it worth it. He's like, but I do have to sing these songs all the time, which is crazy.
Well, and he kind of is shouting about it, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's cathartic in itself, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a good song. I think you revealed a little bit last week that you maybe shed a tear to this album.
I can't see them live without shedding a tear. It's truly a strange experience because, I mean, not even this album, just they're good, but like listening to this one is sort of, because he talks about listening to like having other albums that are hard to listen to. I'm
Right.
like, I'm looking at you, motherfucker.
You're the one that's hard for me.
Because
sir.
even things, it's also the idea of looking at just life. I know he's a big Leonard Cohen guy, a big national guy, which sort of comes out in this too, but it's just like, even if no one had died, just thinking about that conversation, like in this song, you're having with someone and at some point they're going to be dead, right?
Chop.
Like anyone in your family, and you just can't care to like be with,
Mm-hmm.
you're just sort of walking away and like, I'll deal with this later. Oh my God.
The
Yeah,
genius.
play that part from the song.
I like when it goes like this.
Just a simple
Yeah, I mean that part that you wanted us to listen to there.
just kept walking down the hall. No matter what the context, I won't have that time again. Which is obviously now that person's gone, which ties into the idea behind this album art of photo collages of stuff that was his mom's house, like after she had passed, when she was gone, but then photos taken after they had moved all of her stuff out. So it's like snapshots of sort of a time from before and after at the same time.
Yeah.
And you're dealing with all those emotions while trying to move on from it, I guess. So,
Well, and the big one that hit me, I took inventory of what I took for granted, and I ended up with more than I imagined.
mm-hmm.
I mean, that just hits, man.
And yeah.
Buddy, I gotta say, I shed a couple tears listening to this baby.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'll probably never, ever listen to it again.
Was
But,
it hard did I put you through?
Yeah, but that's all right. That's what it's all about.
I thought it might be it, but I felt like I was being disingenuous to myself to say I'll pick another one.
No, I'm glad.
You know what I mean?
It's a good album. It was good to hear.
I think it's important for multiple reasons.
Mm,
But I was just
certainly.
like, I can't just pick another one and say I'm not going to touch on this one ever.
Sure.
But I also figured I should probably get it out of the way.
It's a tough listen, but it's a good listen.
I think it's good, and listening to it again, I mean, having gone through it fully until for like a couple years probably, until after I had said we should listen to it. I got to a couple songs and I was like, oh my God, what have I done? Sitting in a Casey's parking lot. Some lady's telling me to roll my window down for $40 and I think it's also, I mean, my takeaway too is, like you said, very hard to listen to some of it. For me, I don't have these exact experiences. I don't have,
And you don't have to. I mean, this is a universal thing.
Right, but I think it can be harder for some people than others. And but I think it's also because of the catharsis. It's not necessarily it is a sad album, but I think it can also be happy. Unlike this song. New Halloween. I forgot to think of a joke for the name.
Turn it up.
Somehow it's already been a year. Embracing all diversions to make this feeling disappear. Now I just feel you everywhere. It coincides with the guilt of knowing that I wasn't there. I was told that you wouldn't have known. Told myself I was where you'd want me to be. But it's not that easy. I tried to be your light.
Let me go to it.
Skip over songs, 'cause they're too hard to hear. Like track 2 on Benji, or what Sarah said. They just hit too close when already
Head.
No. Now, speaking of Green Day,
How now?
he will also change this lyric when I see them. Not just me. I know other people go to the shows.
No.
I don't want to sound like I've talked to him a couple
Get a
times,
special.
whatever.
Yeah.
He'll change it to somehow it's already been, 8 years.
Right.
And you're also like,
I'm old as
Pop is
shit.
out, just came out.
Does he also then say to make this feeling disappears,
Yeah.
just to make sure the rhyme?
And then he also changes, like, these references are kind of old to
Yeah.
Benji and what Sarah said. So he's like track 2 on Midwest. I can't think. What is it? Like track two.
Oh my god.
Hold on. He's like track 2 on Skibidi, or
Yeah.
or can't think of anything.
Or
It just ain't right. I don't know. What's the
Yeah.
new Kendrick album?
Yeah.
It's like GDX or something.
Yeah. It's like something from that. Like track 2 on
Yeah.
GDX.
We'll cut all this out. Certainly. I trust that you will.
Yeah.
So this one's good. So, yeah, so she passed away on Halloween, hence New Halloween. Think about that. And then
doinky.
now this also starts to touch on which comes up a few times through the album, which is that he was playing a show when it happened.
Chaw.
So he found out later. This is one where it's, I think, even more than the first song, probably even more personal to his situation.
Yeah.
Of just like,
For sure.
I was told, whatever, this person's dying, and I'm trying to get over it.
Yeah.
Do I like this song? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, this one's good too.
There's not much to parse out with a lot of these lyrics because they are so straightforward.
Yeah.
Which is I think all their albums, just the way he writes. I like this. I don't have much. I know I picked the album. I don't have much to say. I like how it sounds.
Yeah.
I like the.
I guess, yeah, let's get into the music because this is. My phone won't even turn off. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't even matter.
I think, like.
I set it over there.
Well, I just need it out of my hand right now.
Right.
So I can engage with you.
Look at me and look, I'm surrounded by.
Yeah, you won't
toys.
even engage with me. Musically, I like what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And there is, because you know me, I'm a melody guy. And later on, he says he's a melody guy.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, but
you're not.
You're not. But the music is. Like, and I always think of Every Time I Die when we get to a band that's maybe a little closer to them than what I would normally listen to. But, I mean, this is something I would listen to. But just in the fact that was like the harder, the yell, the screaming, more than yell. He's kind of melodically yelling.
Yeah.
Every Time I Die is screaming, yes?
Yes.
Okay. But then they're like a riff-based.
Every Time I Die?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said...
I don't like... You said you don't like
They don't
that.
even have good riffs.
Yeah. And then we got in a fist fight.
Yeah. But then I'm listening to this, and I'm like, well, these guys got better riffs than those dummies. Tooting their little riff horn. We do riffs.
They were, weren't they?
Yeah, they're like, we do riffs. We're riff-based.
And I said, but they are good. And you're like, maybe they are good. Maybe they are talented. I just don't like it. I was like, hey. But what's interesting about this, too, is that a lot of it's very clean. It's not like
clean,
the sort of... I mean, there's sort of a rough way to do it, like a rar sound, RAWR.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Scared me.
like on their older albums, but it's like they're not throwing a lot of distortion or something.
It's not fuzzy or crunchy.
Even though I would say it's heavier music, and he's yelling over it. But
I like it. This is the stuff I say, I'm good with this. You can do this all day long, baby.
okay, well, sorry about other things that are going to happen, but
No, I might like other stuff too. I just think
I wasn't sure about this either, just because he's got a specific voice.
Mhm.
I think
I like his.
on Lament and stuff. There's like even more, maybe even more than this. He's a little more comfortable with. I know he said he's never had like a good quote unquote singing voice, but you don't get 5 million Touché Amoré fans can't be wrong. You know what I'm talking about? 5 million Elvis fans can't be wrong. You guys got to check out Adam Sandler's Thanksgiving song if you want to pause this and come back to this. We're not the only ones that need a break here.
That's right.
You do too. But I love their freaking music.
Yeah, it's good music. That's the thing. It's good music, and that's what I said on that. Like if I'm connecting with the music, I don't mind a screamer or a yeller.
Right. Okay.
But to me, that music was not connecting with me at all.
Right.
Either. So then it's X's across the board. You got a double whammy, and you're out of here, sucker.
Well, that's our diet. That's our.
That's how we play the game.
I can listen to that.
That's why we do this. That's why that's a fun show, okay?
That's why it's a fun show, and we pick fun albums like Touché Amoré's Stage 4 to listen to. And maybe you'll love some more sounds coming out of this next one. And Chucky, did you see that movie that just came out?
What is it?
It's about the monster Rapture. I'm sorry. If anyone from the band's listening to it.
What is that?
It's my favorite thing I've ever heard. That's what it is.
That riff is like... That's something.
That's a riff?
Yeah.
Oh!
And it's catchy. And it's good. You can learn something from these guys.
I'm not in any of these. I just work here. We'll look it up.
With so much gloom surrounding, I feel cornered up against the wall. Pulled down and slowly drowning.
Hey.
Taking bets on who was next to fall. I saw the glass as half full. So I felt I could ask for more. I was comfortable. It felt to run onto the floor. I beg to go back to before with the damage done. And the damage won. Like a wave, like the rapture. Something you love is gone. Something you love is gone. Like a wave.
Should I pause it?
Like the
It's been a while.
Yeah, probably.
Something you love is
I'm trying to find something. Hold on.
What you love is gone. Someone you love is gone. And leaves you fractured. I saw the glass. I saw
God dang. That's the kind. That's what I'm talking about. When I see, when you go see that live, when you go see. Thank you all for coming out tonight. When you go see that live,
Yeah, when you see it live, that just hits, don't it?
are you a gay robot? When you see that live, Rapture is one of my favorite songs of all time.
It's definitely a standout.
That's the one that came out September 13th before I went to see them, and I was just like, that riff, wherever it's from, them or not,
I mean, I think it's from them, but it
doesn't
sounds
perfect to me. It's just like that's the musical equivalent of what he's singing. It's not like the same melody, but like the emotion of what he's singing is in that guitar part for me. I just don't know how you find two guys. He just goes, "I'm singing about this," and he goes, "I got something for you." And then you've got drumman rocking out back there. You should listen to his band too. He's got a solo project. It's pretty good.
Okay.
I'll tell you about it later. This is one of my favorite songs on the album.
For sure.
Like a wave, like a rapture. Something you love is gone. Someone you love is gone. I saw the glass half full, so I felt I could ask for more. I was comfortable. It's just great.
Mm-hmm.
It's also a damn rocker.
It's a rocker. And you know what? Just not I think what if Andy Hull sang on all these songs too?
He leaves you. Yeah, what if he did?
Yeah. That'd be cool. No, but I was thinking too, just on my previous point, and then about how it's like it is melodic, but it's, you know, he's not really doing a melody, but I mean it is like, especially this song is probably the most, like, as far as like what he's doing vocally is sort of, well, I guess there's other songs where he's singing, but this is probably the most, like, there's a hook of, like, a vocal hook.
Yeah.
But it did make me think of, like, yeah, I mean, you could sing to this music in a way that I don't know that some stuff you couldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was thinking of this song on Lament, when I didn't even know Andy was on that, and his little voice comes
he's
in.
like,
And you go,
my hands collapsed underneath of my toilet seat.
I was like, who the hell's that? And why is he skibbity toilet?
Hey, and I'll tell you what, when they do that song live, their guitar player will sing. I believe Nick, the guy that does all the art, he'll sing that part, and I'm like, you got some big shoes to fill, buddy.
Does he do it well?
Yeah, I mean, it's mainly the audience.
Yeah.
Because everyone's like waiting for their chance to show that how high they can sing.
I can sing like Andy Hull.
I can sing high. So that's good stuff.
Yeah.
But I just love that. That's the sound of the album to me. It's like sad. It sounds like a wave I mean, maybe I'm stupid because I got this riff head.
Yeah.
I'm listening to these guys riff for 11 hours at a time.
But what does that sound similar to something else? I don't. Maybe what I'm thinking of is that it's just so good that it feels familiar. You know?
That's because it is simple. That's the stuff they're doing is not in a bad way.
No,
but there's no, which fine by me. There's no like solos. There's no
right.
Look at me noodling.
It's short and sweet. They're in and out.
It's a guy going.
Yeah, just like that.
And he's also Jeremy is kind of singing to that too.
Yeah, that's what.
Like, and that. I'll just actually play it for you instead of whispering into the microphone.
No. But what if that was Andy Hole?
Right. What if it was?
Yeah, that'd be cool. No, I like this song. Definitely one of the tops for me, old boy.
Hey, where'd you get this thing that you put under my plate? Say what thing? Say what thing?
What thing?
You know, displacement. Displacemat. Oh, that's the wrong drum.
You died at 69 with a body full of cancer.
Awesome.
I asked your God, how could you? But never heard an answer. No one saw it coming. The diagnosis of stage 4. The bravest woman I knew that survived it once before. Last week I crashed my car and I walked away unscathed. Maybe that was you asking me to keep my faith. You cry at the thought of never seeing me again. If there was an afterlife, or what you call heaven.
Maybe we shouldn't have a shirt for this one. You're doing that.
That's not what I prefer. I always kept it honest, especially for her.
This one's a short one. I can't play the whole
No,
thing.
pause it now. Now.
But it is a scorcher. It's a 2-minute. Some of these they will extend. You know, some of their other albums, it's like a song's like 50 seconds, 45 seconds, and they're still in that lane of kind of just giving you a short punk song.
Yeah.
And then you get to like this one that still is that, but it's like the most heartbreaking song on the album.
Well, this one's kind of because the other ones, not to say they're not good, because they are, but this one is, I think, more looking at the sort of, obviously, the religious aspect of she was a believer and he wasn't, and the sort of you'd cry at the thought of never seeing me again because I don't believe the same thing as you.
That's the one that, because I don't believe this is one they play live probably often either. I mean, it's so like about his mom. I mean, but like you died at 69 with a body full of cancer. I don't know if that's one that everyone's like coming out to.
Yeah, let's mosh to that.
But then it got to that line too, and I was just like, Jesus Christ, maybe there's a different album I could. You cried at the thought of never seeing me again because you're going to die. You know, not me.
Right.
It's. I mean, to also have probably like these real conversations with his mom or these things a lot of people will talk about maybe behind closed doors in these moments.
Yeah.
But to really put it out there to like, to bring to your band.
Yeah.
And say like, I think this should be in the song.
Yeah.
Or, you know, whatever.
And not only that, I think every one of our fans should hear me say it.
Right.
And potentially sing along to me saying it. It's a bold move, Cotton.
Mm-hmm. I want you to go to heaven. I've never felt so selfish. Which is that sort of the unbeliever at when someone else is dying, becoming I mean, quote unquote, becoming religious.
Yeah.
Because like you believe that will happen.
Yeah.
And yes, I don't want you to die. So I want you to go there.
Yeah.
Even if I don't believe that.
Right. Well, then, yeah, I couldn't worship the God that let her fall apart.
Yeah.
It's just
the anger of that person that they also, the person that they believe in doing
who
this
is
to
like,
them.
yeah, who is good and mighty.
Yeah. Which is a very, that's, I mean, sort of into the religious stuff we've talked about from other albums. That's always an interesting topic.
Yeah.
And especially in this way of, I mean, I like, someone being angry about religion, but in a way that seems a little more down to, it's not just like whatever, someone just being anti-establishment or being mad about the church or whatever. It's like this thing this isn't, I can't believe this is real because of what they have done to you,
right?
To this person I love.
Yeah.
So it's,
and then at the end, I'm not sure what I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that's understood, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Not sure what I believe.
You're like, all right, what's coming up?
Well, I think that's understood. But I know she's looking out for me. The way she said she would. The way she said she
But
would.
that,
The way
like,
she said she would.
the sort of like, oh my God, someone keeps messaging us.
Is it my fault?
Yes. For some reason, it comes in twice.
I know. Every time.
Anyway, that of like this whole thing of like, you're sad, you're about to die, but you believe that you will have what do you call it? Everlasting life in heaven.
Yeah.
And the thing that you're most sad about right now on your deathbed is that I won't be there with you when I die. And all of this stuff that like you believe in this God who is good and helpful and merciful, but also has literally torn you apart right in front of my eyes. And I don't know what I believe, because I want to believe that because it makes me feel good about where you're going to go.
Right.
And I want you to be around. And just this sort of like, I don't know what to do, but I know she's looking out for me the way she said she would. Like, knowing that, or like thinking that she's not.
Right.
But believing it anyway. Just this.
Yeah. It's that's also, I mean, that is the main part of it, where it's like you have that sort of, I don't feel them. I mean, what the hell were we just listening to where they were talking about that? Oh, the Story So Far album, where he's like, how can I believe you're there if I don't feel you at all?
Yeah.
I think it's sort of that, where it's sort of like, but I crashed my car and I'm okay.
Yeah.
And something in me feels, this is sort of, I do feel something.
Yeah.
Like I know I don't, that's sort of the happening in you, that sort of fight of like, I don't believe this, but you must be there somewhere. Like I can feel that. But then there's also that idea, going back to what you said about like them crying, I've never seen them again. And it's also because like your son or whoever doesn't believe.
Yeah.
Like you're worried that if you die and they have not taken, whatever, become Christian again or whatever, by the time they die, you're never going to see them again after death.
Right.
And it's like, so you are trying to be like, you don't want to have a fight with your parent on their deathbed.
Right.
But you don't believe that or whatever.
Well, and he's like, it's selfish.
Mm-hmm.
I never felt so selfish. It's not what I prefer. I've always kept it honest, especially for her.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to lie and say that you do agree, but also like, just do it. Like, how selfish of you,
Right.
to not just give her that piece. Yeah, that's a song right there, man.
That's a scorching 2 minutes.
And that's what I think that one might have the most, at least to me, of like, God, there's a lot going on here.
Right.
Like, and it is one of the shortest ones on the album.
Yeah.
Pack a lot into that, don't they?
Yeah, and
Pack a lot of.
What you just call me?
Pack a lot of. That's one of the ladies in the Bible.
Oh.
The king was watching her take a bath. And he wanted her to pack her bags and bring her and move into the castle with him. Her name was Pacolata.
After that story, I'm hungry. I would love some eggs Benediction.
Hell yeah. Here we go. Let's pick it up. This one's about all the girls that didn't move fast enough and the girls
Who never slowed down. It's an ugly day in Glendale.
In a place that you once knew.
Oh, now I know why he doesn't sing.
Come on, man.
Come on, I'm kidding.
As I lose you, I'm still taking it all in. I'm adapting to this loss. I wonder if she remembers you. How could she have forgotten? There's a crack in the shell, and some light is shining through.
Crack is where the light shines through.
As I sorted through the pieces, they tell the stories I never knew. You left a hole in this earth, and you paid for it up front. I had to fill it with dirt, while your friends sang the song. May the Lord, mighty God, bless it, keep you forever.
Slowing it down. So this is, I mean,
The slow song.
well, this is the first time he's ever done clean singing on an album.
Is it really?
There was he does some a little bit on one of the singles that came out before, but this is the first time
Okay,
where
you're
it's
lying.
like, here's a song that is almost like 50% clean singing, which is interesting. That, and you're like, huh, because they are fine.
It's
Which
kind of
isn't
a new
it?
sound for these
Isn't
boys.
it sort of? You kind of hate when it's like, this is a great album, but you hate why it exists for like this person or just in general for life. It's sort of like,
Yes.
because everyone's like, they really like reinvented their sound with, and it's like, because the last album, the song that he's talking about, talking to Andy Hull, is a conversation they're having about being content and how it's hard to write when everything is going good in their life.
Yeah.
And then the next album was about his mom dying. And it's like, I guess that gives someone something to write about.
Certainly.
And
certainly. Yeah.
You know,
Like, do you think, like the latest Foo Fighters album was mostly about the drummer.
yeah.
And then do you think, knowing what we know about Dave Grohl, do you think his next album is going to be about?
Yeah. He's like, illegitimate, 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 how to get ahead of the news, illegitimate, illegitimate, still taking pictures with my other kids, making it look like everything's good. I got another confession. You ever see him? He's like eating that microphone.
Yeah, I've seen it.
You love the Foo Fighters, and it's Foo Fighters, not the Foo Fighters.
Oh. Well, I'm seeing the... doesn't matter.
You like this one?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I made that joke about him singing voice, and I didn't mean it.
Too late. He's turned off the podcast.
No, I didn't mean it. And in fact, he sounds a lot like a guy from another band that I like that you probably won't like, but eventually we'll probably get to him. I'll probably pick him. I mean, we're going to run out of bands we love,
Right.
and eventually we'll get to bands we like. In fact, we've already done that. So, but keep that in mind someday.
Great. I can't wait for you to never follow up because you'll forget.
His singing
and I won't
voice.
know who you're talking about.
Maybe I'll just pick them next week.
Okay, maybe do that. Or
Anyway,
you could.
I like his voice.
Yeah,
I think it's cool. It's fine. It doesn't sound like what you were expecting, at least to me.
right.
I was
Because
like, who the hell's this?
even when he talks, I mean, he's always. I think he said his voice has always been a problem for him. Sort of. He loses it every tour.
I'm sorry.
I mean, some of that might just be you're probably not
He's yelling
screaming
all
the
the
right
time.
way. Like he's not doing the zen of screaming or whatever that lady
Yeah.
is like. Oh. He also does a podcast, and his voice is just kind of he's just kind of a raspy guy.
Well, maybe stop doing a podcast if you're losing your freaking voice.
If every time you get off stage and you say I got to rest my voice, you could do a podcast.
Think he drinks a little thing of whiskey before every show?
I bet he does olive oil,
Yes.
like Chad.
Lube me.
So this song
I
is
like this
about. So this band's an LA-based band. They're all from the city of Angles. So when his mom passed away, he and his brother, I believe, drove her ashes to be buried in Norfolk, Nebraska, where she was from originally before she moved to LA. So this is sort of about I believe, if my timeline is correct, this is about the trip he and his brother took driving to sort of bring her to her final burial place.
Yeah.
Which is also his brother on the 10th anniversary show came out and sang with him on Flowers in You, which is cool.
That's cool.
It's very, I'm sure that was emotional for everyone. I watched a video of it and it seemed cool. It seemed like they were happy about it, but it's interesting because he's kind of part of this story of like getting back with his, driving out with his brother to go do this. So they went to Norfolk to bury her and then kind of see where she came from and, why she decided to probably move to a big city.
Yeah.
And they did the video for this song. I believe it was the last video for the album that they did. They started that tour in Nebraska. And so Jeremy flew out with the music video guys, and they did a video there showing the town, and it is like pretty nothing. It's like
Your
a
classic Midwest flyover.
middle of a lot of closed
BS.
buildings, a lot of BS, corn BS,
Yeah.
and so that's what this is about. Which is why then it gets down to it was a sunny day in Norfolk next to the tree that caught your eye, with my brother by my side. So now you're hearing that what I'm saying is true.
Yep.
That's not in the song. That's me talking to you.
Oh, that rhymed.
And then you left a hole in this earth.
The whole thing. Are you sure? That whole thing seemed like song lyrics.
You know what?
Damn.
Maybe I should write a song. I left a hole in this earth. You paid for it up front. I had to fill it with dirt. You left a hole in this earth. I had to fill it with dirt.
Yeah.
Right? Burying someone. And then also doing like the prayer of benediction in the song.
Yeah.
I assume that falls under free use. It's probably old enough. It's sort of like Winnie the Pooh.
I think that actually means that this song is technically a worship song.
I'm bringing this to church. I'm going to be one of those guys. Well, we should do this one.
Listen, guys. I've got a song that might push your boundaries a little bit.
But if we want to get some of the younger audience in here, we need to do it.
There's a crack in this shell. Boing, boing.
With his ukulele.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of a guy.
Yeah.
So what do you think about Benediction?
I like this song. I like his voice.
And it's to me,
Hmm?
what are you going to say? You like his voice?
I like his voice. I like this song. I like.
Uh,
Let me just say this one. There's a crack in the shell and some light is shining through as I sorted through the pieces that told the stories I never knew.
Mhm.
The sort of, like you were saying, maybe
Mhm.
there is kind of it's not happiness, but there is a sort of like you're going through all of this stuff of someone you love,
Yeah.
you discover, and talking to all the old friends that are there to sing this, to sing at your grave.
Yeah.
you are hearing all these stories that you never knew and filling in the pieces of this person you know so well, but only in the context of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly you're getting stories about, and it is kind of the, for lack of a better word, the fun part of a funeral or like of a celebration of life or whatever, where you do get all these people together who are grieving, but you also get these sort of memories all coming from people, like people who knew them at work and people who grew up with them. They're old friends that you only have seen once in your life, but they're telling you stuff like, you know, stuff from when they were kids that you're like,
even
just, you never think
siblings that
and you never think to ask your parent or something like, got any stories from when you were 10? You know, it's just something that never comes up, but it's a core memory, as the kids say, for this person, and they tell it to you, and you're suddenly filling in the sort of story of this person's life that you don't even know.
Yeah. And of course it's bittersweet.
Of
they're
course.
no longer there to then say, hey, you never told me that.
Yeah, you'd actually much prefer never to have heard that story.
Hey, I got some of those with my parents.
Of course. Yeah.
Now I did think about this, and one year I was like, I'm going to get my parents these books where it's like you can write about your life.
Oh, yeah.
So I go, when you're dead in the dirt, I'll have
Yeah.
stories about your life. Now, my mom said, I'm never going to do that.
Yeah, of course.
And my dad, I'm worried he has now added books to.
He's got like the
I think
encyclopedia.
Yeah, he's kind of got like the Christopher Tolkien appendix. Like, so I'm worried his is going to be a little bigger.
Right next to your almanacs will be
Joe's life.
Joe's life.
Because you do sort of think like,
no, that would be cool.
Because I get that stuff with people that are gone or even grandparents, and they go, this happened, this person, and you're just like, they never told me, or what the.
Yeah.
I mean, even with parents that are still alive at this point, because you're still learning about
for sure
stuff they never told you.
Yeah.
And you think about the shit in your life that's like, if I ever had kids, are you going to know 90% of this? Probably not. Like, it'll probably at some point come up, you're like, oh yeah, I did get hit in the head once.
Yeah.
You're like, tell me about how you got hit in the head.
They're like, Dad, I know. Your head's completely flat on the back. But no, we're always finding out new stuff about people around us.
Yes. Thank you. Cool.
And hey, the lady on the roof that was bathing, her name was Bathsheba.
Is that real?
Yeah. And the king, was it David?
Yeah.
He's watching her, and he's got a wife, I'm pretty sure. And he's watching Bathsheba take a bath. They're like,
I'm starting to think some of this might be made up.
well, I know that like if you're a blacksmith, your last name is Smith or whatever. But if you take a bath, so your name is Bathsheba,
And that's your first name.
and that's your first name.
And also you take them a lot.
And he was looking at her and he said, well, I want her to be my wife now.
Right.
And then I think he kills his wife.
He might have also just said your name's Bathsheba now.
That's true.
Well,
history is told by
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The victors.
Yeah.
Which that's the other thing.
His name
If you're
should have been Victor.
Anyway, there's a weird thing going on with this album where this song is a minute 32 seconds, but it's called 8 seconds. So figure that out. Okay. That's what I'm looking for. That's that sound I'm looking for.
There is no transferring or soul, just a script that I never read. A sad story that is universal, a big idea of what to expect. If the curtain's already, I haven't learned my life. If the curtain's already, I'm just not that we'd have more time. A missed call with a message attached. We need to talk when you have a chance. I stood frozen in the Gainesville venue, not knowing how to react. If the curtain's already, I haven't learned my
6,
life. If the curtain's
7,
already, I'll improvise.
8 seconds.
I mean, we're gonna listen to the whole thing.
Not surprising,
No.
I cut off the call.
Turn it off. Turn it off. Turn it off.
You don't get a minute 30 if the song's a minute 30.
No.
So this again is one of those where you go, this is an odd album, right? Because it's so specific to
Odd AWED.
how do you pronounce OUD when you see it in like a men's?
Ood.
Is it?
I don't know. That's how you asked how I pronounce it. That's how I pronounce it. What do you want?
That's true. I live, I learn.
Do you like this song, dear boy?
I do. I just I mean, it is him just recounting
It's a quick little recountance.
of where he was when his mom died.
Yeah.
And sort of knowing, maybe not knowing it happened, sort of the like, I felt them go through me or whatever, but sort of knowing I know that this is what this call is about. And if that's what it is, it's already happened, or sort of just trying to pretend like you didn't get the call.
Yeah.
Trying to prolong, is that in here somewhere? It literally says prolong in front of me. Anything to prolong the chances. That's the sort of the Eliza Schlesinger's cat, right? Where it's like, is it alive in there? Is it not?
Uh-huh.
Sort of having that, I don't know what the state of my mom's life is, because I don't want to know, because I know the answer. Until you get that. And what she's talked about too is he was at the fest in Gainesville, and he was on stage playing the show when she died, and sort of having that guilt.
Right. Well, in an earlier song, he's like, I was where she would want me to be, right?
Exactly.
That sort of
You're
thing,
telling
like,
yourself that,
yeah,
so that
like,
you don't fall into.
She would want me to be there instead of with her, right? Yeah. No, I mean, and probably, I don't mean to say he's wrong. But
No, because I mean, you think of like, I guess if I was that, if they've got stuff going on, do you want someone to be with you at your
right.
weakest? I feel like often the person that is passing away is a bit more at peace than those that are left behind
Yeah.
with the situation.
Yeah.
And so, but you obviously don't know for sure ever. And that's sort of,
Right.
oh, that's okay. And so you don't know, but also ending it with, she passed away about an hour ago while you were on stage living the dream. This sort of quote, this sort of like snide, is that what he's hearing in his brother's voice,
Mm-hmm.
Sort of this,
Right.
while you were out gallivanting,
Right.
because also being in a band, it's like, is that sort of,
Right. It's not
what's
like
the
you're-
importance of that?
Not like you're curing cancer.
Right.
I mean, that would have been a lot better.
You would have had you would have had no album, I guess, because you wouldn't be in a band.
Yeah. Probably still be in school.
Yeah. Like I should be, instead of doing this podcast.
Yeah.
And I was also going to say the guy that produced this album produced the Brother Sister album by Me Without You.
Oh, nice. I love that guy's work.
Thank you, Brad Wood.
What?
He would thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
What do you think about this one?
I like it. Good little short and sweet.
Yeah,
It gets everything it needs to say.
Mhm.
It's in, it's out. We've all had someone text you, "Hey, we need to talk,"
Mm-hmm.
and it's gonna be bad. So
Mm-hmm.
especially if something like this is happening,
Yes.
where it's like a looming sort of thing, and like you said, you just kind of have this otherworldly premonition of, oh, this one's the one.
Mm-hmm.
This is the bad news coming. And then it's, you like call your dad back and he's like, hey, did you renew the Apple TV thing, or should
We
I
need to talk. Please, I need help.
yeah, please call as soon as possible.
And it's like, it says that it sent you a code.
yeah, could you
Joey's iPhone got a code.
but sometimes it's that someone died.
Mm-hmm.
But usually it's like, yeah, like
It's like
what's
one
the
in
Roku password?
It's like a 1 in 25. I guess it depends on what's going on in your life, but
Yeah.
a lot of it's the remote's not turning the volume up anymore.
Yeah.
And we need to talk because David Muir's on. So that's 8 seconds.
Yeah. Felt longer.
Yeah. God, not in a bad way.
No. Just
But as someone that often does sleight of hand magic, I always have these. You know when you're on a boat and you dream of waves? Well, I have palm dreams.
What was it that brought you west? I assume I could only guess. Answer questions and what I'd asked. That appear when time has passed. It felt like many years. Taking apart our home. I talked through 40 years. All alone.
flipping through his book like a madman.
Was it all the palm trees?
Never heard this song.
Place where they shouldn't be.
Looking for it.
That makes you feel complete.
What do we got here?
In this land of make-believe. Like going 65 on the 5 and 5.
Like going 65 on the 5 at 5.
You know.
On my own.
Go down from there, right? But I can't.
I am still bereaved. Come every ocean breeze.
All right.
Was it all palm dreams?
Was it all the palm dreams?
Placed where they shouldn't be.
That's how you do it. You know how I like when someone changes something just a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Is that actually what he says?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I also noticed on here there's a would, and he says wouldn't.
Wow,
I think it's in New Halloween when he says, "I was told that you would have known," and in here it says, "I was told that you wouldn't have known."
right.
And on there it says would.
Oh,
But I think that's just one of those. It's a hard word to parse.
yeah, but that kind of changes the entire
Yeah.
context of that.
It's not something you should just guess.
Well,
Was it all the palm trees? This was the first single for the album.
which is
and
kind
this-
of weird to me? No, actually, never mind.
I mean, it kind of, because it is dropping you right in the middle of sort of like,
Yeah, but this one is a little more removed from the sort of, well, not really.
I mean, it is saying, what was it that brought you west about
Yeah.
his mom over and over again.
Yeah,
But I think it sort of fits what people would expect from them more than like if they said, here's Benediction. People
Yeah,
were
yeah,
like,
yeah.
ugh, he's singing. Because people do that. Idiots. Right?
Yes.
So it's sort of like, here's a faster one, but
But
it is
there's
giving
a
you a
little-
little more of that new, yeah. And that's when we first got old Jay doing that, and you go, this is going to hit different. And I texted everyone,
Jay is singing now.
this is going to hit different. It's like going 55 on the 5 and then I go back. It's like going 65 on the 5 and 5.
At 5.
Smile.
Which is actually quite fast because the 5 is actually littered with traffic at 5.
Yes. Thank you.
The 5 is a highway
Thank you.
in the land of palm dreams.
LA, baby.
I like this. It actually is kind of strange because this was kind of the sort of bare conceit of a screenplay I was writing in college that I never finished.
Okay. Did it inspire you to I'm looking up what the actual miles per hour on the 5 and 5 is. Yeah, I'm not sure. Does seem to know what I'm talking about. That's weird.
Well, he's saying on the 5 at 5, not 5 and 5.
He's just talking about rush hour.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just trying to. I put 5 and 5. Hold on. Stop looking at my cube.
Jesus.
It's an iPad.
Highway 5. What do you call that in Los Angeles? Los Angeles miles per hour.
Yeah, an interstate. That's good.
So did you finish your
My screenplay from college? No.
So the maximum speed limit in downtown LA is 55 on, I believe, the I-5.
So he's going 10-0.
I really should have watched more of the Californians before I came in here to talk about this.
Or Californication.
So the maximum is 65, but it's impossible.
A show about sex.
Yeah. And then he was like, guess what? I actually do have a problem. Maybe don't do that show, dude.
Yeah. Do you think the show happened first or Duchovny?
I think he had an idea for a show. He's like, I got an idea. I have sex with all these beautiful ladies.
What if I'm addicted to sex?
I
Hollywood's
guess.
crazy, my brother. Hollywood is crazy.
But no, this is a good song too. I like this one too. Yeah, what was it that brought you west?
This is one of my favorites on the album because also it is, like we talked about briefly before, it's the information you don't have.
Right.
Of that you now will never get.
Yeah.
Of why did you move? Why did you come here to raise your family? And was it all the palm trees placed where they shouldn't be? That's a great.
Yeah.
As we know, they brought that crap in, but it's sort of that artificial, like, perfect life that was being built somewhere else.
Yeah.
That was like,
You
is
just
that
had to.
is that what brought you here? In this land of make believe, obviously, a lot of their stuff too. I mean, there's these ideas of growing up in Los Angeles, around Hollywood, around the stars.
Yeah.
What did you want your life to be? Were you hoping for something more?
They're doing the System of a Down thing where they're like, ha ha,
Right.
all you people coming here. Well, I was raised here.
All the world I see before. What's the well, do you think she ever went to a old school Hollywood baseball game?
Oh, I hope so.
I'll ask Jeremy if he's ever gone to old school Hollywood baseball game. And he's like,
When?
yeah, Tony Danza gets in line.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I was
And
trying
that
to
was-
think of who all they name dropped in that ridiculous little song. Hey, if this song inspires anyone to ask the questions they've never asked their loved ones, I'd call it a success.
yep.
And we started this show saying that you didn't want to go to your brother's birthday party, 40th birthday party. So just think about that. You've learned nothing.
But because that's part of this, I dug through 40 Years All Alone, going through all of her stuff in that house.
Right.
And then trying to figure out, just getting more questions than answers. What was it that brought you west, where I lay my head to rest? Well, that's Palm Dreams. That was the first single. That's a good one. And I love the music of this one too.
Yeah,
That's
it's great.
sort of whatever they're doing with their guitars
They're like,
and those drums.
yeah, they're like good at them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the song too. Hey, just on the topic of, because it's like we should ask people while they're still
Yes.
here. Remember when we saw Bruno in theaters?
Yes. Yeah.
Ever since then, you've just been more softer spoken. What happened?
When words are softer spoken,
Hey.
they often sound the best.
But he's yelling.
But now the winds are woven. They pour out in my chest. I'm all used up, I'm out of steam. Vacationing somewhere in between a city named catharsis and the other cold empty. And when I feel so common and
Oh, damn, we all listened to the whole damn thing that one, too, didn't we?
They're short songs.
What?
They're short songs. Paul, I've come to rely on love, but there's absence in my heart when I know I have enough. I'm just giving you the rest of the song quick.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. I wasn't listening, so I'm just catching up on the lyrics.
Yeah.
I would say if I had to pick one that was maybe a little less, it wouldn't be this one.
Oh?
No, it probably
It would, yeah.
But not for any real reason. Just, I think by this song, I'm a little like, even with it, that's how we just are now.
Jesus Christ.
We're just like, yeah, I
we get
know.
it.
Well, no, in all honesty, I'm having a little bit of levity.
Right.
Because as we get to the bonus song, you'll see that sometimes we cover up our grief with not wanting to address it. So I don't know. This one feels like a little bit like
I think there's less to hold on to here.
Yeah, it's a little more nebulous and less specific, and also just of like, yeah, I think we have covered just about all we can cover.
And sometimes I think I like the way they write songs. There's often they do these shorter songs, the sort of hardcore thing. There's no chorus. There's sort of,
yeah.
I mean, it is really him. It's poetry, sort of him going through but like you said, we've touched on some of the stuff, and it doesn't hit as hard. I mean, when I think of this album, it's like Flowers, Rapture, Palm Dreams, sort of these that really hit and get to the point.
Mm-hmm.
And just because this one sort of feels like, City called Catharsis, the other called Empty. I like that stuff.
Yeah, it's cool. It just
but-
doesn't quite hit as some of the other ones
and then you're
have
at
hit.
what is this, like 8 or something? Song 8, yeah. It's the 8th song on the album, so you're getting to the end, and so
Yeah.
you know,
I'm not getting rid of it. I'm not cutting it. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying,
yeah, you're sort of posing holy, actually.
yeah. Hey.
Two. Three.
A sugar-scented, simple message that everyone saw through. Now subterfuge and acting blues seem to dictate my mood. Counting blessings while confessing. I'm some despair. Beg or borrow, swallow sorrow. I have come prepared. It's a rite of passage. It's a torch to carry. When you feel that damage, and it's extraordinary.
Who turned off the music?
Just kidding.
They'll do that live. When they get to that point, everything goes silent. He goes, "Hey, who turned off the music?" Or first he goes, "Freeze!" And so everyone's dancing. They go, and he goes, "Hey, who turned off the music?" And he goes, "Just kidding."
Skiggy-doo, skiggy-doo.
I absolutely love it.
What do you got on this song, Joey? Posing
I
holy.
like this one better than Softer Spoken.
Yes.
But I do also feel like we're getting to the end of and to your point,
Thank
nothing
you.
against them,
No.
because I like all these, but it is sort of like you said, you will probably never listen to this again. It's pretty
It's a heavy topic. It's very specific.
right. And so also going through 10 songs,
It's a lot.
about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I would also, if they threw a song in here that was about something else,
It wouldn't work.
right?
Yeah,
You
I would
kind
say
of
we'll cut that one.
have to do this, which is fine. I think this one has a little more to grab onto. Beggar, borrow, swallow sorrow. I've come prepared. When you feel the damage and it's extraordinary.
Yeah.
Yes, I just this one going into the final song is very cool to me.
Yeah.
I think honestly sometimes softer spoken and posing holy sort of just go together. Like for me, they're sort of like the two songs leading into Skyscraper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
They don't come off as like a single sort of standout song, either of them.
I agree. I think it's cool, but again, it's kind of the thing of because it's kind of about like
Or not the final, but water damage is next. Idiot.
yeah.
Going into the final. No,
No,
stop.
it's fine.
You got anything else?
No, I mean it's like again, I think it is kind of they've broached this topic in a cooler, more specific
That's the
way
thing.
earlier.
And when you're laying it out this way, it's just sort of the album fatigue of you're on the B side, you're at the end. So you've got to, I don't know, you've got to keep the audience's attention, telling them how to make an album. My favorite band.
But I do like it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I just think the idea of like acting or like maybe holding on to some sort of religious aspect that you don't necessarily believe. We already talked about it. Yeah. So.
What's that guy's name in Monsters Inc? The boss,
shit.
Water Noose. What's his? It's like AJ something Water Noose.
Oh no. Oh, I think you're thinking of the Tuxedo.
Oh right, Walter Strider.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is weird because in the Bible, when King David sees Jackie Chan, he's fixing something with a pool in his tuxedo.
Yeah.
And so he calls him Walter Damage.
You couldn't help but spill your glass onto that nightstand.
Mark Hoppus.
So that will
Do I run?
raise the craft. You came to have such shaky hands.
Pick it up.
Those patriotic coffee cups that came in a set of four became three when I found a handle broken off on the tile floor where you used to cook our meals while you watched that small TV that was so dangerously placed above the kitchen sink. They've all gone away.
That's the penultimate song.
Boom,
Boom, boom, bang.
Yep. And I think we're getting back.
And they're back.
That's because I like the little intro of the sort of, and it almost feels a little Me Without Yui.
It's Me Without Yui. I think it is the most. There's the Cohen influence. There's
Yeah.
definitely a national influence of a guy talking about his ass.
Yeah, for
Not
sure.
in this song.
No, but just
but
that's
all the national songs are like, when my ass got stuck.
in the toilet.
Yeah.
Skibbity toilet.
Now that's a sketch. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
And he's just talking about the cups in the house. I mean,
Yeah.
That's kind of I'm good with all this stuff.
Yeah, this one's cool. It's that classic sort of signifier signified. What are these little to another person, these meaningless little material items mean nothing, but to I they mean the world. And yet they've all gone away because we're cleaning out the house.
And there's pictures of that in here, which you'll never see. Because I saw that you didn't wash your grubby little hands. So you shan't be touching the book.
Please let me touch you. I'll show you the pictures, but you can't touch.
And then there's this, the night when you took the wrong dose and you weren't making any sense is a night that I often remember and one I wish I could forget, but it's there to stay.
Unlike these meaningful little trophies that are gone,
Right.
the memories of all the worst parts of things stay.
The bad stuff you wish just didn't happen, or you could, just the, why do I have to remember that one thing about this person that's so disturbing to me, that's so scary?
Yeah.
That's all. This is a good, this is like when I get past the last two songs and get to this one, it's like this. Yeah. There's more here. That I like.
They're still cooking.
And when you leaned in and said, we both know what this is, and I haven't recovered since.
Yeah.
You go, oof. Oof da.
Yeah. This one's good.
You go, so there's still, I can't have one moment of levity in this 30
There's not
album.
one comedy song on this whole thing.
Huh. There's not one song about being a zookeeper and you forgot your keys.
Could you imagine? Kevin James plays me in the movie.
And you keep going through all. I mean, you could do some good stuff. Then you get to the zebras, and their stripes are lining up with the bars, so you can't see them because the white stripes are behind the bars. But it's dark out.
And then you could have.
Are you gonna bring them for next week? Naked thunk, sick and drunk on the back, all skate out in bed in Mexico.
I called my wife my sister
just
for
Jack.
a while.
But we both know that I was kissing.
Boom, boom, boom,
Boom, boom.
boom.
Two bass
Boom,
players.
boom, ba-da-da-doom.
God, I would love to go see him.
Jack White?
Yeah.
I hope you get to.
Yeah, me too. I'd love to go see him on top of a skyscraper. Hard to keep time without our timekeeper back there.
Sorry, Toots.
He's got it.
Yeah.
By George. By Stanley.
Atop the skyscraper.
Oh, sorry.
102 floors.
I'm still talking.
New York City. It was yours.
Who's this lady?
That's Stanley.
Follow the busy streets. We watch your dreams.
What happened?
Almost dropped my phone.
That would be so sad.
And then, of course, we get to the end. Oh, wait. I didn't do...
Wait.
He's screaming. I forgot we got to talk about one thing on the last song.
Oh, no. What?
Wait, where the heck is
No.
it? Is it this one?
About the message?
Yeah.
That's earlier in the song or in the album. I don't remember.
Where
what
was
song.
that?
I don't remember what song. Old boy.
Well, okay, who cares?
Uh,
Earlier in the first song, he talks about a message he got from his mom. And
Oh, it's in New Halloween. I haven't found that courage to listen to your last message to me.
yes. And then I'm trying to find. I had it in the. This is a little behind the scenes. I'm getting thrown because it was in the lyrics, and now I don't see it. It's on Skyscraper, right?
Yeah, it's just at the end.
So I just could have just kept playing it. I mean, we don't need to listen to it. But in New Halloween, he talks about not wanting to play the final voicemail he got from his mom. And then at the end of the album, at the end of this song, Skyscraper, they play the message, which I think is maybe the most personal
Yeah.
thing you could do,
Yeah.
where it's her voice and it's also sort of like a nothing message, like
But isn't it everything?
exactly.
Yeah.
And then he said, I believe he said that there was a lot of sort of back and forth of him deciding if he wanted to do that, sort of going that personal with it after having mentioned it. I think it's cool. I think when you hear that lyric and then you get to the end of the album and you hear it, it's just like,
Yeah, it's
I think it is a bold choice, but it's
certainly
fitting because I think he was like, I had to listen to it. It's cathartic for me, but it sort of gives you also, this whole album's talking about her, and you finally get to hear sort of just a snippet of her.
well, and it's Chekhov's voicemail.
Right. If you bring it up in the first third.
Yeah, you're gonna have to play the voicemail by the end. No, I didn't expect to hear it.
No.
And
you kind of forget.
Well, yeah, because I mean, it is just
a
like
lyric.
Yeah, it's a lyric, and you're like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
understood. That'd be hard.
Mm-hmm. That was my foot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm serious. No, look.
But then just like, oh, that's a cool lyric of that specific thing would be hard. But yeah, you don't really think like, oh, and probably he's gonna play us the message, right? and then he does, and you're like, could you not? No, it's very cool. It's very cool. But it again to the point we were making earlier of like, the whole band kind of had to be okay with this literally being about him, to the point where at the end his mom is calling Jeremy.
Yeah, right.
But it is powerful as hell, and I'll be holding space for it.
It's because there is no music or anything with that, where and it's one of those things like on the new album, their newest album, obviously the lyrics pertain to his life, and a hard thing he's going through again.
God.
But then for everyone in the band, they're like, we were all going through a really hard time in different ways, and this was a way for all of us to,
Yeah.
So you're like, yeah, it's just hard to, I guess, put a voice to like the drums, meaning something.
Sure.
Like they do, but it's like this is how I get this energy out. This is what it feels like to me.
Of course.
It's just hard to it's hard to talk about because it's like, well, what is that? It's sort of, that's music.
Mm-hmm.
We just figured out what music is. You win. Who was that? What if we just got ascended? God, that'd be awesome to just get to leave. Yeah. So they play the voicemail at the end.
What do you think of this song otherwise? It's kind of, that's what I wanted to read to you. Our friends at Genius have an annotation. The chorus, you live there under the lights. After the sort of, top the skyscraper, it was yours, it's yours. The backstory apparently is that the family took Jeremy's mother on a trip to New York. They went to the top of the Empire State Building. There's a photo of him and his mom. She looks really happy. And then, so you live there under the lights. Here's our annotation from the Genius folks. Jeremy's mother is from Norfolk, Nebraska, not New York City. It's honestly hard to explain these lyrics because most likely there is something about New York City that echoes in Jeremy about his mother and is very close and personal. Whether it's a fact about it that reminds him of her, or maybe she loved the bright lights and city bustle, but it's never explained. Something. Why would you write in on a thing that's a contribution? Just shut up.
To go in and highlight that and then sign in, add for you to go like, there must be something here.
Yeah.
To a paragraph of you saying, I'm sure it means something.
You're supposed to tell us.
Also, you're stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yes, the story is that shortly before she died, she'd always wanted to go to New York and had never been.
Mm-hmm.
They got to take her. He said that's one of his. What did he say on? He posted something about it on the 10th anniversary of her death, where he's like, if I had to forget everything in my life and remember one thing, it would be that trip.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, so that's why this is sort of the closing song on this album, and it's also like him saying, "You live there," because it's him thinking about a time when she was alive.
Mm-hmm.
You live there under the lights. It's like this huge city. This is yours because you've always dreamed about coming here. It's just a nice sentiment to be like, she must like the twinkling lights.
I guess the city bustle was cool. Shut up.
I also like, she looked happy. She must have enjoyed her trip.
Yeah.
So this was, they're on the Empire State Building.
You live there under the lights. I mean, and just like that, to me, I kind of figure, okay, that's his sort of memory.
Yeah.
Like, that's how he remembers her. When he thinks of his mom, you live there under the lights. Not even, it can kind of still be detached from New York just because it's about being in New York. It's like, that's just the memory of you that I have. You live under the lights, bright, shining memory of someone I love.
Yeah.
Is that so wrong?
You live there sort of in me, right?
Yes.
And it says, we watched your dreams unfold. New York City, it's all yours. But it's also that idea of just like this, we hope you have this happy, one of these last memories. Yeah. And then he said that he always liked this sort of, I think it's a sort of Cohen thing of like knowing, and Matt from National will do this too with one of their albums where he's like, I like that idea of knowing where my limit is vocally and bringing in a female to sort of complement that.
It sounds good as hell.
So it's Julian Baker.
Yes.
Julian Baker from Julian Baker fame and also Boy Genius.
Yes, yes.
And this is the third, they've done 3 songs together. At this point, I know she's on the final song of their newest album. I think she's on the final song of Lament, because this was the first time that they had worked with her. And I know she has said that she just got a text from him one day and started crying because she loves this band, and said she listened to Party in the Sea Between Brightness and Me all the time, and got a text asking, just like, we like your stuff, sort of.
Yeah.
I think they were on the same label when she was on whatever she was putting her earlier albums out on. And so they've kind of continued to go back to get her as sort of a closer feature.
It's a great sound.
Cool. Yeah.
It works really well. What if it was Andy Hull, though?
That's the thing. Put that on the Genius.
What if it was Andy Hull dough? No, she sounds great. It's a great addition. I love when a female vocalist shows up.
Mm-hmm. Especially because he is very subdued in the song.
Yeah.
Vocally.
Well, and it's this whole album about like the feminine presence of a mother. Mm-hmm. And then you get this sort of like heavenly.
Right. It's very ethereal and sort of.
Yeah. You
echoey.
live there under the lights. This sort of approximation of or sort of I don't know, so some sort of creation of a heavenly voice for his mother.
Yes.
Almost.
They turned on the echo button.
And I think Julian Baker is Mother.
Yeah, she's Mother, she's Brat, she's Wicked, she's all these things. And they keep going back to her. And she's also someone that...
is small, very short.
Right. I was going to say also someone whose albums are hard to listen to.
Yeah.
You buy it and you go, not sure if I'm going to put this on much.
Yeah.
This one is obviously doing absolute damage to me in the best way possible. I think this is a nice closing song. It's simple. It's one that is maybe the furthest from their sound because there's only sort of this, as it gets to the end, you live there under the lights, you sort of start to hear him screaming. That's also the crazy thing is like this sort of... Like he's really going nuts.
More than
that sort of like buildup of this whole thing and then screaming that about his mom is just like, whoo, baby.
it's a great closer.
Yes. So that's the end of the album, as it were. But it sounds like you did listen to the...
I did. I didn't realize that it was... I was like, God, you guys should have ended with Skyscraper.
Right.
But...
They did.
Yeah, they did, and I just didn't look at my thing.
And it starts so quick, at least on mine. I feel like Skyscraper is barely over, and then it just goes right into Gather, which was the B-side on the Palm Dreams 7-inch was Gather. So let's just play a little bit of that, why don't we?
It always starts the same way. A sight, a sound, or something. Then everything decays. Till I gather myself. If I gather myself, I mean tune out the hemorrhaging. If I gather myself, I mean turn down possibilities. But at the risk of sounding vague, I'll walk you through my day-to-day. But don't expect to comprehend little things.
All right.
Okay.
That's Gava in it.
Yup.
Clearly a B-side.
I actually, and later on, what I was kind of getting at, and by gather myself, I mean to evade what I'm feeling in some cunning attempt to outrun the things that have made the night my home. Point my eyes to the ceiling to evade my feeling. I actually like this song. I might suggest throwing this on instead of one of those other two that we were kind of like, because I think this does speak to the sort of a newer idea on the album of like of trying to guard yourself against these feelings, which is kind of interesting because the whole album is like one of the most honest and open things ever. So it is kind of cool to have a song where he's like, hey, I don't want to be thinking about this stuff, man.
To me, sort of that the very like heavy style of 8 seconds, he sort of touches on this briefly at the end of sort of prolonging the inevitable.
For sure.
And I feel like that sort of going into something like this, which has a little bit different sound, but then it's like here's that idea at the end, and here's an expansion of that about sort of everything you're doing to just, like you said, not think about it, or talk around it.
Yeah, and just kind of get by.
Yeah.
Because it always starts the same way. Someone mentions something, then I'll just turn away till I gather myself. Like, the sort of mundane mentioning of something like, say, a broken mug might get him to start thinking about stuff he doesn't want to be thinking about.
Well, like this, I'll walk you through my day-to-day, but don't expect to comprehend. It's little things that do me in.
Right.
Sort of what put you in this mood. And it's like that. I saw a broken coffee mug.
Yeah.
And you think of that, or, the time your mom took too much of her medicine, whatever.
Right.
So I do like this one.
I think it's cool.
Obviously, I think, it ends with Skyscraper, which is great.
Yeah.
But I do like that this is sort of part of the deluxe version, so you can hear it off of the record version. God, that's it. Hey, thanks for going through this with me.
Hey, thanks for bringing it to me.
Bringing it was a...
No, it's good.
But it's
good
just
to
like,
listen to it.
There's such a dividing line for this band, which is truly one of my favorite bands ever. Of like, this is sort of the album where I feel like they've found something that they continue sort of now working in. And it felt like now more than ever. Let's get to it.
Absolutely, and I'm glad we did, buddy, old pal.
Thoughts on any ending thoughts, or I guess give it your rating?
I don't really have any ending thoughts. I've said what I need to say.
Okay. I'm going to give this a... I think I'll give this a...
Okay. Now he likes it.
I think an 8.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just, I'll give it an 8 to soft 8.5. Maybe I'll stick with an 8. I don't want to give it too crazy, but it is. Maybe it's something I'll raise later.
Yeah. I think
because Lament, like you said, it's a really great album. Their new one's really great. I don't know. It's just.
This is a great album. For me, I think it is, like I said, it's a tough listen. I probably won't revisit it. I won't say ever, but it's not.
I think, and this might be different for you. I usually come across it as like, I'm going to listen to one of these, or it comes on and shuffle. And it's like the big ones I really like. But like I said, I hadn't been going back and listening to Benediction or some of these other songs where you go like, oh shit, like Displacement. You're just like, God damn. I don't know, maybe truly the last time I've listened front to back to the whole album.
Sure.
Before this.
And you're a shuffle daddy.
I am. I will usually shuffle all sorts of crap until maybe something I go, I want to listen to that.
Yeah.
And then I'll maybe go to the album or to that artist. But when you're just driving, I just want to
get through some stuff. Yeah. I'm an album
guy, daddy. Yes. And that's not to say I'm always a shuffleman.
No.
Yeah, but one of them will come on, but that's when you get the palm dreams, and you get that and you're like, yeah. And then it gets to the next song, it's like dan 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 dan. Get around, I can get around, fuck it up on my rock. And you hit skip.
Here we go.
Do I run? So what do you say? You say an 8 too? Or you say
no? I'm gonna say 7.
Okay.
I'm gonna say a 7.
Well, we'll definitely at some point probably be circling back to the boys in T and A.
I sure hope so. T and A is one of my favorite things.
Yes. In fact, maybe when I get home, I'll watch some videos of T and A.
That sounds pretty
before
nice.
I head to bed just to relax a bit.
We could watch a couple together.
Yeah. Have a group.
Hey, if you're out there, have a group T&A session.
Yes, with your best friend.
With your best friend as soon as possible. We urge you.
That's all I got for stage 4 from Touché Amoré. Hey, we got through it, and I got to show off that I have a book.
Yeah, that's cool.
Jeez.
Now, see, the thing... Well, we don't need to get into books. Now it's my time to pick, isn't it?
Yeah, that's part of this show that goes on.
Now, I have a couple options, and I was kind of having a little fun thinking what way to go. Something completely different, or sticking with the sort of theme of death, but from a different angle.
Okay.
What do you want to do?
See, this is interesting because I couldn't wait to go next week. Now let's stop messing around and really bring you something different. I'm done with this. But now you want to do that.
Mm-hmm. I want to throw this whole thing off the rails.
Maybe it's time to do that, right? Because we can always come back to death.
Well, the thing with death, my pick for a death thing from a different angle is also completely different.
Oh.
It was a trick question.
So you wanted me to say, stick with death. And you would have been like, aha.
No.
We're listening to the band Death. Yeah, I can't wait to hear what you pick.
No, I think
that was one of the band that you said, he reminds me of someone else.
No, no.
Oh, I got to write that down.
I'll remember.
That's what I'm going to ask you on your deathbed. You can be like, I don't have much time left. And I'm like, who was it?
I'm just going to look you in the eyes and say, beef.
And die.
God. You want something completely different? This was kind of fun too because maybe it's good for our algo.
Is it newer?
Yeah. And it's a
maybe let's do that because then maybe that'll help me pick something else that's different and we'll sort of be on a different track for a while.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I knew that this was, like I said, I knew we had to get to it at some point.
Yeah.
I'm like, when do I bum everyone out?
I'm gonna follow Jeremy's lead and kind of divert our attention away from the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
This album, short and sweet though it was, I'm picking something also short and sweet. We're going to be listening to Sabrina Carpenter's pop album, Short and Sweet.
Okay. Okay.
I've listened to it once, and it's funny. So
Okay.
It's a great pop album.
Okay.
And it's going to be completely different from this dour sort of mood we're in.
Okay.
So,
I'm looking forward to discussing this album with you.
me too. It'll be fun.
I think it'll lead us down some interesting roads too.
Speaking of two guys just watching T&A videos,
Yeah. I've got some music videos.
it'll be... just don't listen with your parents in the room.
Right.
You know?
No, it'll be sweaty enough by myself or my girlfriend walking in going, so what are you doing?
I swear he told me to do it.
I thought the door was locked.
No, it's almost a comedy album.
Hey, that's what I was listening to something about it, and we'll get into it later. But
Sure.
that's what they're like. They're like, it is funny.
Yeah, it's
Like,
It's-
but you know, it's we'll
we'll get into it, but yeah, I think we might have some fun stuff to talk about. So let's do that.
Pop's going down an interesting road, is it not? From Touché Amoré to Sabrina Carpenter and the new pop movement of the early 2020s.
Yes.
We'll see you next week or whatever, 2 weeks from now. Throw up those inverted butt cheeks.
Bye.
Each week we listen to an album, here's our mind. Just know it's gonna take about 3 hours of your time to hear us complain or praise each other's taste. But no matter what, at the end of the day, we're just best friends who love different music. We